Have you ever seen a photo online, maybe of an animal or something, and your first thought is just, no way, that has to be fake, like Photoshop?
Oh, absolutely, it happens.
Well, that's exactly the reaction back in 2006 when the very first pictures of this tiny, incredible fish started circulating. People, even experts, literally dismissed them, said it couldn't be real.
Yeah, it looked too good to be true, didn't it? Just these vibrant colors, the patterns, but that disbelief, it flipped incredibly fast.
Flipped is right. It turned into this global phenomenon almost overnight. People started calling it galaxy hysteria.
Galaxy hysteria. Hobbyists went crazy for it. And the names, everyone wanted to give it a poetic name. Galaxy Rasbora, Fireworks Rasbora.
Oh, like the Japanese name too.
Yeah.
Micro Rasbora, S-P-A-A-M-I.
Exactly. Hanabi also means fireworks.
Yeah.
It just captured everyone's imagination.
So, okay, this tiny fish sort of becomes this symbol, right? A microcosm of how things happen now with discovering new species.
Precisely. And that's what we want to unpack in this deep dive. How this one little fish's story weaves together, well, everything. The speed of the internet, a sudden conservation panic, and then the careful, sometimes slow work of science trying to figure out what it actually is.
It's this whole narrative of finding something amazing by accident, demand just exploding, and then scientists playing catch-up. Really shows you how fast things move in the 21st century.
It really does, and it's a perfect example, maybe one of the first big ones, of how online buzz can create enormous demand instantly, which, brings up totally new conservation issues we hadn't really faced in the same way before.
So let's go back to 2006 in Myanmar. Those first photos hit the web. How did that spark the hysteria so quickly? It seems almost unbelievable.
It was wild. The photos went viral, like truly viral, before any scientists had even formally described the species. Suddenly, you had fish dealers in Singapore selling them out almost instantly. Then shipments reached the UK, and you heard stories of hobbyists driving hours literally across the country, paying top dollar just to see one, let alone buy one. It was a real gold rush situation.
A fish gold rush. And all this time, scientists are scrambling, right? Trying to figure out its identity. It wasn't just, oh, here's a new fish, let's name it.
Oh, far from it. It really makes you think about how we classify life. So informally, everyone was calling it Microrasbora spa galaxy. But then in 2007, an American scientist, Tyson Roberts, he looked closely and said, no, this is something completely new.
Okay.
He actually created a whole new genus just for it, called it Celestichthes margaritatis.
Celestichthes margaritatis. What does that mean?
It literally translates to the heavenly fish adorned with pearls.
That's beautiful. Heavenly fish adorned with pearls. Captures it perfectly. So case closed then. New genus, new species.
Well, you'd think so, but science doesn't stand still. Just about a year later, another team of researchers came forward with even more detailed evidence.
Already, what did they find?
They used everything. Really close analysis of its bones, the fine details of its color patterns, and crucially, the latest DNA sequencing techniques. Much more advanced than what was available even a year or two before.
Right, technology moves fast too.
Exactly. And their genetic mapping, it was much more comprehensive. It showed its evolutionary history, its lineage, actually placed it firmly within an existing genus, Danio.
So Danio, like the zebra Danio everyone knows.
Precisely. Related to those. So the evidence was just really compelling. The scientific community reviewed it, agreed, and Celestichthes was retired. It became Danio margaritatis. That's its official name now.
So it went from maybe a Rasbora to its own genus to being a Danio. That's quite the journey just for a name.
It is, but it shows the scientific process, A hypothesis gets proposed, Celestichthes, then it's tested rigorously with better data and revised. Accuracy wins out.
Okay, so science is figuring it out. But what about the fish itself back in Myanmar? All that demand, the galaxy hysteria?
Yeah.
Surely that caused problems. Alarm bells must have been ringing.
Oh, absolutely. Huge alarm bells. The demand was so intense, so sudden, everyone assumed it was being fished out incredibly quickly. There were immediate fears of extinction, which led Myanmar to ban exports for a while. Total panic mode.
Understandable panic, I guess.
Very understandable. But here's the twist. Later surveys, once things calmed down a bit, they went looking properly. And they found the fish wasn't restricted to just one tiny spot. It was actually more widespread.
Really?
Yeah, living in these small, often temporary pools. And not only that, it turns out they're incredibly resilient. They breed almost daily. They're prolific spawners. Ponds that were thought to be completely fished out, reports said they naturally replenished within just a few months.
Wow. So the fish was tougher than anyone thought.
Much tougher. The initial fears, while well-intentioned, turned out to be largely unfounded in this case. Its natural resilience was extraordinary.
So it wasn't quite the conservation disaster everyone feared at first. That's actually really good news. Bit of a happy ending there.
It is in that respect. The fish sort of weathered the storm of its own fame.
So wrapping this up, what are the big takeaways from this whole celestial pearl danio saga? It feels like a very modern story.
It absolutely is a modern marvel, in a way. Its journey taught us so much so quickly. First, how the internet can just ignite this overwhelming global demand, creating conservation challenges we need to be ready for. Second, that scientific classification isn't static. It evolves as our tools and understanding get better.
From Celesta Theis to Danio.
Right. And third, sometimes species can be surprisingly resilient, even when faced with sudden, intense pressure. We shouldn't assume the worst instantly, though caution is always needed.
And here's something really fascinating for you listening. This story doesn't end with it just being a popular aquarium pet. This heavenly fish adorned with pearls, it's actually become really important for science.
That's right. Its unique pattern in those spots offers a perfect visual contrast to the stripes of its cousin, the zebrafish.
And the zebrafish is like the model organism for genetic research, right?
Exactly. So scientists studying how color patterns evolve, the genetics behind stripes versus spots, they now have this amazing comparison point thanks to the celestial pearl danio.
So the search for something new and beautiful for our fish tanks.
Yeah.
It accidentally ended up providing a crucial tool for major scientific breakthroughs.
Precisely. It just shows how discoveries, even driven by hobbies or aesthetics, can unexpectedly open up whole new avenues for understanding the natural world. This tiny, stunning fish is still teaching us things.